813 Stopping and Shopping with Pushapreme. How you doing today?
What's going on, man? Yo, before we start the interview, it's not a blooper, but I do have a blooper.
Okay. What do you got?
You gotta close your eyes.
Okay, I love
put
presents.
your hand out. Alright, open your eyes.
Oh, you so dumb.
No. I just got you something straight from the home of propaganda. We want to bless you with something.
Okay.
We're all about safety. Keeping the 6 feet apart. So on and
Thank
so
you.
forth.
Oh, this is so cute. Oh, I love this.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Oh, it fits my ear so good.
Look at that. You better luck than I do. And they're gonna be available at Vote as well too. So anybody that don't feel left out.
Don't feel left out. They're gonna be here. I can't talk with this. Thank you. I appreciate this so much.
No doubt.
You guys, thank you. Where they can find us? Propaganda.com?
Propaganda.com, prop_clothing, or they can just come to 4813. We have the stash right there.
Okay, too. Oh, thank you. I appreciate this so much.
No doubt. I gotta give a gift to my favorite host.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But let's talk shoes. Let's talk style. Let's talk everything. You got some shoes here.
I had to pick out a few that stood out to me. The new strawberries is fire.
Cool,
These things are just amazing.
With ostrich leather. Ostrich leather.
And the crazy thing is, the last time I encountered a sneaker that had ostrich leather was I had a pair of Y3s and they have ostrich leather. And then to see it in this full detail to where it reminds me of a strawberry is incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like
I love it. I love that shoe. I think it's an incredible shoe. I love that. I feel like I always pick this one up. If somebody don't buy me this shoe, I pick this SD. This
Travis is amazing because Travis Scott came from being a producer to a multi-platinum selling artist to now making sneakers, and he doesn't play a damn sport.
And listen, you see, let's talk about that. Okay, so Travis Scott, he's clearly an entrepreneur. He does his music, he makes his clothing wear, but so are you. You feel me? You're an entrepreneur yourself.
This
you
is true.
You make your music. You have your own Tampa brand as well. This is one of your hats that we have up here.
Oh yeah.
You make your own shirts. I think you made these pants you got on here.
Well, these particular pants I didn't make. Shouts to original Cotio. She told me to make sure I say it like that.
Okay.
She's from Italy,
Shout out.
She actually made these pants from scratch. So from like this design to writing on them to like adding the zippers to it. So she's been sending me clothes for years. Shouts to her. I love the work that she does. She's kind of on the dark end, but it's like for me she kind of like mixes the two. You know. So she made overalls for me. I love overalls. It's like a fun fact about me.
Okay.
I don't know
That's
why.
something different.
Yeah. Because it's like
I can't find no overalls in my size. I'm too long. I'm too tall. So.
I think she could make something happen for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna have
if
to.
you're watching this, you gotta make something happen.
Well, I will exchange info. I'll get her info for sure.
Perfect.
But all right, so let's talk about style though. You do make your own style, but how has style how's the 813 impacted your style? Are you born here, first of all? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm from New York.
Okay.
Born in the Bronx. I moved to Queens, went to school in Queens. I moved to Tampa for high school.
Okay.
Went to the military. Then from the military, came back to Tampa. Had some issues with the law, shit like that. Went to school in Mississippi, got hurt playing ball, and then went back to New York.
Okay.
And from New York, we came back to Tampa.
All right, so Tampa has been home because you even made, like I said, a brand. We have Tampa on the head.
Oh yeah. Tampa has.
What is Tampa?
I love New York. But I love Tampa as well too. Tampa's like, has been like an escape for me. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that New York and Tampa are so much different because they're both cities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love the people in New York and I love the people in Tampa. But what Tampa has done for me is it provided me the opportunity to live in a true melting pot with other individuals from other places. So back in Queens or back in the Bronx, it's like you're from 161. You're from 125th, you're from Burnside, you're from University, and then in Queens it's like you're from Flushing, you're from Jamaica, you're Indian but you live in New York so long, you adapted to the culture and then you're here. Tampa is like, I'm from LA, I'm from Miami, I'm from North Dakota, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have to travel, everyone's here, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I love Tampa, and I represented that in the colors when I was making the Olympic Tampa because it's just a melting pot of positive individuals, and that it sparked the idea for me to be very, infatuated with like colors and blends and things like that. And that's the reason why I love Tampa.
Talk to me about Tampa culture versus the New York culture when it comes to like hip hop, when it comes to music. What's the differences and what have you taken from both cultures?
See, that's a difficult question because New York is very prideful with their culture. With Tampa, it's like the pride is there, like they love it, but it's like we're almost there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot more unity. You know, like you like for example, the way people felt about Pop Smoke in Brooklyn is like, if God forbid I was to die today, would I get that kind of love? Put in all the work that I put in. So it's different. There's more people in New York, so more people, more love, more connected individuals.
I think that we've talked about something like this before, where it comes like, you know, Tampa has been a city where the support has been definitely building. You know, it's definitely grown a whole lot. But there's always things that you read tweets like, you know, you have to come from a different city to be supported in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? It's because Tampa, like, they won't show you love if you're from this city.
See, the thing is like, because coming from New York, when I tell a lot of people, love is earned. You have to earn it, and you know, because you do a couple things here and there, people think that equates to love, but you really gotta like start from the bottom to the top, and I think that's in any city, you know. You know, like one thing I would like to do, you know, with Vote IN3, shout out to you, is I want to do a float. I want to do a Gasparilla float. I feel like that will put me in the pedestal of earning the love of the people, because and now I'm embracing the culture on a larger scale.
And I think the culture here, I think a lot of people knows Pushapreme, and if you don't know who Pushapreme is, you know, here he is. A lot of people know who you are. They fuck with you heavy, not only because of your music, but because of who you are too, as you know, your personality and how you come and you approach people too. So I mean, I think that for me, I've heard your support. Everybody supports you. I've never heard any hate come towards Pushapreme. But with that, you know what I'm saying? How does that inspire your music when you feel that love, when you feel people already?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you know, my whole purpose of it is just, you know, I became an adult really fast, you know, so I didn't get a chance to kind of embrace the creativity of being a child. So coming to Tampa, it allows me to touch base with that inner child syndrome, you know. Like I look at old pictures of my mom, and I'm just like, I've been wearing masks, I've been dressing up, you know what I'm saying? But for me to like be like a thespian or take on like theater stuff like that in New York would be crazy. Like I lived in like Jamaica, Queens, like that's not happening. I'm gonna get roasted, I'm gonna get beat up. Like I'm from that era where you couldn't even wear red or blue on Fridays. So, you know, Tampa gives me that escape, that freedom to be like, yo, like live your life. You know what I'm saying? And not to knock, you know, any cities in the United States, but each city has a particular culture. Thing about Tampa, since it's such a melting pot, it allows you to kind of like really hone in on who you want to be. You know, like Tampa has the capabilities of being like the next Miami or next LA.
Yeah, and I think for sure, I say that all the time. I think that Tampa definitely has that capability of being the next Miami, being the next major city. You know, people already come here.
But yeah, we have Tom Brady.
So exactly, we have Kronk now.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, Tom Brady.
But
and we won a Super Bowl with not even like big media stars. You know what I'm saying? So the possibilities are definitely. Like we're living it, you know. 10 years from now, we're gonna be like, damn, I remember when no one knew about Tampa, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I love my city. I love being here. When we talked about fashion, we talked about, you said that you've always been wearing masks and how that, you know. Talk to me about your mask. How did that come into play?
So I used to be in a rap group called Malcolm Nova, and when I moved down here, I just didn't want the stigma of what I did with Nova to carry over. Like I couldn't hold my own. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when LeBron left D-Wade and went to Cleveland to be his own man. So I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have no ties. And the way I grew up on music, a lot of artists I didn't see because I didn't have like a television until like middle school. I didn't have internet until high school. So if I heard about like Heavy D or if I heard about Nas or Missy and shit like that, if I didn't see the music video, I just enjoyed their sound. So I want people to kind of like, just for my audience, you know, just, you know, love me for my sound and for the stories that I portray in the music. And then everything else will kind of, you know, manifest itself. Some people, it's the image first and then the music. And it doesn't, you know, I want people to really understand that I'm not doing this to distract you, but I'm doing this because I don't, like, this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm black, white, Haitian, gray, it doesn't matter.
No, you're right,
the music
for sure.
is the only thing
The
that
music's
matters.
the most important part. But I mean, it does, when people see you, it does kind of bring some kind of attraction. Like, oh, what's he about? What's going on? Because I mean, and this is not your only mask that you have.
I make several of them. When I made the first one, it was difficult as shit. I ain't gonna lie to you, it wasn't easy. But then, like, you know, it was like therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't make masks for like on a consumer level. Because the time that I made them is the time that they were made. So if I do make another one, it would have to be because something higher than myself told me to do so. You know, I'd rather just, you know, make clothing. make shoes, think about like building designs and things like that. You know, like I was working with my little brother trying to like, hey, if we had the opportunity to work for Tesla, what kind of car can we draw? You know, I just enjoy the process of just creating things.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's beautiful. And I mean, you do create a lot, but let's talk about your music, because we create a lot of music. You're very well known for your music here. I want to talk about in different angles. First, because we're talking about fashion already and how you do create your own clothes and a lot of the stuff. Is that ever a distraction from your music at all?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think the beautiful thing about, you know, apparel, whether it be, you know, streetwear or luxury streetwear, it's like a display of emotion. You know what I'm saying? Like these shoes, for example, is like, this is like the emotion that's displayed on here. You can tell that it's like, you know, some of the angles here were kind of like, they weren't perfect. And that's how life is, you know? Life is very just as it comes and as it goes. And that's kind of like what I do with our designs here, because you know, with me, I'm with propaganda. So, you know, which if you guys don't know that's the symbol right here. So we kind of try to just take things that people would kind of be ashamed to like, and we bring it to light to make sure that it's okay. So I always try to do things that emotionally create a like a reaction, you know.
So that goes into inspiring into your music. That also inspires.
Yeah, well, a lot of the music comes from just like, I'm just like an addict for like sounds that create emotion. So like a lot of my music is just like, I take the story from a real place, and then, you know, depending on the instrumentals that I get, or if I'm like co-producing the beat, it's like everything kind of comes to me like a buffet. So I'm like, yo, I never had chicken and ice cream before, but shit, today I will. Boom, 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 you know?
I like that.
And then kind of just, you know, just build it together. Kind of like, you know, how I see you, what you do with Fan Affair. You know, you've brought in so many different individuals, and it's just like the like-mindedness is that we're all human beings. Yeah, and the creativity is like, we had the one with the racer jackets, we had Swig. You know, we had my homie that does the painting. I can't think of his name right now, at the tip of my tongue.
We had a lot of people out.
And then you got the cigar, the cigar joint. Like, who does that? You know what I'm saying? But it worked. You know what I'm saying? It works, and that's why I think creativity is just bringing outstanding minds together in one place. So
your music, you're a rapper, you know, but you do dabble in different things, because I feel like you're a very versatile artist.
Thank you.
Your sounds do differ from time to time. You've been in the music game for how long, right?
Sure, it feels like a while, but it's like, I don't know, I just feel like it's just constant. But I would say that, you know, like for 3 years, constantly 3 years.
Okay.
You know.
How have you changed? How's your sound changed through all that?
I think now I've just been more inquisitive in finding out how I could just be better than the last 3. You know, if it's just like, you know, I have a band now, which I always wanted to accomplish. So now, you know, with the band, it's like, okay, how can I have people who don't get the live sound, who is like maybe 14, 15-year-old, you know? Because hip-hop came from that. How can I make that very relevant to today's time? So I'm really big on the live sounds. And I just want music to be alive, like how I see it. Because, you know, when I work on music, I see it like color patterns. It's kind of weird, you know.
No, it's not. You know, that's an actual thing too. How people see that it's a musical. Man, I can't remember it right now, but if you Google it, it's people can see music in colors. You know,
wow.
they hear melody. Yeah, no, you're not. You hear a melody. I was actually reading an article about it. So yeah, I mean, Google it. That's amazing, because that means you have a gift for this music. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, going back, I'm sorry I got distracted with that, because that's amazing that you can see color like that. That's cool.
Like, you know, shouts to Mike. You know, Mike has seen me perform and things of that nature. So, it's like every particular song brings out like a different color. Most of the time when I do perform, I'm performing with my eyes closed, because I kind of just see where the, you know, it's kind of like, it's weird. It's like a light, and then I kind of like, because I get to the light, then I'm like, okay, boom, this is where the energy I need to match. You know?
I like it. Because
half the time I'm just like, I hope I don't fall off stage.
No, that's a very like organic and pure feeling. I mean, I really love that about you then, because that artistry, I mean, you get different kinds of artists. Everybody's going to be different, you know what I'm saying? How they perceive art and how they take it in. So it's a refreshing perspective to see that you do go that way. And what other directions have you taken your music though? I know that, you know, you have your music, but is there any other businesses that you know incorporating your music? Are you planning on like producing albums or like other people's albums that are not your own?
Well, yeah, I mean, in the long run, I would love to executive produce, you know, kind of bestow ideas and things like that. But more so, I think what I really want to get into more is like video directing.
Okay.
Like I write a lot of treatments, even for like some of my peers. You know, like shout outs to Young Joe, shout outs to City the Mass, shout outs to Reaching Nova. Like sometimes I hear a song and I just be like, oh my god, this would be a dope video, and then I just get the writing. Like okay, this person, this scenario. Because sometimes this song kind of illustrate things that happen in my life. I've had a very complicated life. But it's complicated in the experiences, so it's just like I'm here now. So like I guess it wasn't that crazy, right?
Yeah, and it gives you fuel for your music. I think when you have experiences like that, you can always put it down in music, and somebody somewhere is going to relate.
Yeah, you know? And I try to be as honest as possible, you know. Which spoiler alert, I'm dropping a COVID song this week. Yeah, so I'll make sure this is like a exclusive on your part. Nobody knows that. Only people that that get the music on a daily basis know about it, so I'm gonna drop it through Symphonic. Yeah. So it's called 19, but the number 9 and then teen.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about coronavirus. How has that impacted you? How has that impacted your music? Has it impacted touring at all for you? How has it?
Oh fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
How has
I had a whole setup for this whole year, man. I had a whole setup. And all it did now is just make me appreciate that I have like legit fans. So I had a secret album link, so it's unfortunately it's not available to everybody.
I did get it. I received it.
And it made me work on just kind of just building with my fans, like really just kind of like getting the feedback. I make sure I have it all stored in a Google Drive, so if I ever feel like I'm not doing enough or like I'm not famous enough or whatever the fuck that means, I always look at those things and be like, okay, you know what? It matters, because when someone is repeating something that you've written down, it's like that's like a beautiful feeling. You know what I'm saying? Especially if a song is like, yo, I like this song. With as much music that we have now, it's like it's dope. It's kind of like coming to the store and you pick out a shirt. If all these shirts were like Toy Story, they'd be like, damn, he got picked and I didn't get picked. Yeah. But it's a beautiful process for people to point out and like what they like. We live in a very indecisive world.
And I think that's okay too. When people like I said, because again we go back to you being versatile. I think that your music can appeal to a lot of different people because of that versatility. Because not everybody is different, especially in the creative scene. You know what I'm saying? In the creative circle. So I do want to talk to you more about your music that you dropped. You had some music that dropped with Check the Star.
Yeah. Shout out to you. Your homework. So She's Dead. I was talking to one of my homegirls. I can't say her name unfortunately, but she was dealing with a toxic relationship, and then she's just like, I don't want to drink no more. And I was just like, So I thought about that on the ride home, and then that's what kind of like built up the song, because she's like, I feel dead. And I'm just like, damn, how does that relate? Because I know what it is to be stuck in a toxic relationship, but you're trying to make it work because everything works out. Like, you both pay bills together, you both share a car, you both, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All these things that kind of tie you again, but you're still not happy. It's just like, it's like going to work.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to go to work because work provides me with this fucking ends to my means. But do I like my job? You know what I'm saying? So people do that with relationships, and I've been a part of that. So she inspired that song, She's Dead, and then Check the Star definitely threw like the icing and the candles on top of it.
Yeah, I really like that. It was a really good song.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
And let's talk about your albums that you got. You had May Say came out.
Yeah, May Say has definitely been the song to kind of get me to where I'm at right now. It charted on iTunes, number 13 in South Africa, and then number 3 as well. Thank you. I don't know how we got to South Africa, but fuck it, right?
Listen, all support is great support.
Yo, for real.
Thank you.
For real. So I just been honing in more so internationally. Whatever I can do to bring more A&Rs, more light on the artists in Tampa. Because there's a lot of artists in Tampa that I feel like they don't have the budget to be as big as they are, but they make some really fucking good music.
And I feel that, and I think again, when you go back to support too, a lot of the artists in Tampa, they don't have the support that they need because they're not out there yet, because they don't have that. What you're saying, putting somebody on a track. So, do you have somebody locally that you're trying to work with? Any like features on something new?
There's a bunch of people. I mean, I had a personal goal to at least have a song with everybody in the city.
I love that.
Yeah, but I saw how it worked with Lil Wayne. And then, you know, maybe that song may do well, maybe not may do well, but at least we have that shared experience, you know? And maybe they can benefit off me. I have no problem with people using me as a trampoline to catapult their career, you know?
And that's real because you don't get a lot of that.
Yeah, you know, I'm really just here because God put me here, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I had, like, jail situations, I had New York situations, I had, like, death situations, I was in the military, like, who knows, like, one step here, there, I could be in Iraq, stuck in Iraq, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm here for a particular purpose, and so far, my life positively works for me, the more that I kind of just stay in a more creative and artistic field, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, do we have any expected projects? Do we have anything, like, crazy drop in here in the next,
the only big drop per se that is going to be for the 19 song, which is kind of like summarize my personal experience with everything that's been going on with the COVID. I think it's a fun song. A lot of people kind of like it. Kind of just gives you, I call it the reset song. So it's like, you know, I wanted to drop it on the 15th, thinking that we were going to get out, but it's been extended, unfortunately. But, you know, at least the song will kind of motivate people to be like, it's not that bad. When we come outside, we come outside. And even, like, don't be in a rush to go outside. Don't be in a rush, you know?
Like, for sure, 100.
Look at this time to be like, okay, if my job was to burn out tomorrow, how will I get money, you know? And we all know that the internet is bigger than the life that we live right now. So, you know, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're doing digital pictures, whether you're doing drop shipping, like, you know, just kind of challenge your mind, you know? That's why I feel like this shit is teaching us.
Yeah, these are wise words from Pushapreme. I want to ask you one more thing before we try on some shoes, we buy some stuff. Where did you get the name Pushapreme?
So it was calling me Preem here in Tampa when I first got here because I'm from Queens, and then the 50 Cent movie dropped. And just like, you know, that's back when, you know, anybody from New York that was related to anything in New York and pop culture just attached to you. So if you were black and you was from Queens, you was 50 Cent, or they just call you 50 for short. So they called me Preem for short because Preem was like, you know, Supreme was a huge drug dealer in New York. Now, I wasn't nowhere near that man, but, you know, it was kind of catchy and shit like that. And then the Pusha portion of it was when I moved back down here. I wanted to make music anonymously. I was going to go by Anonymous.
Okay.
As corny as that sounds. But,
I like it.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't be here if my name was Anonymous. You'd be like, this nigga.
No, because I think you would still have the same, you know, because it would be anonymous.
Very possible.
I don't think nobody even knows what you look like.
Yeah, you know, I only do that only so I can just separate my real life from things I do creatively. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to go, you know, let's say if I was on Billboard, right? I couldn't go to a Rays game. I couldn't go to a Bucks game.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I would get harassed, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to deal with that portion of it because I understand that life comes from just people's infatuation but looking at you bigger than who you are. I'm just providing a service. The service I'm providing is just good, inspirational, inspiring music.
For sure.
Take it and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a god, you know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes that can kind of, you know, put people in disarray. I don't want to do it. I want to build people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's try some shoes on. I appreciate talking to you. I appreciate.
No doubt.
I like those the best. Let's drop your handles first so everybody knows where to find you.
Oh yeah. Pushapreme on everything. Pushapreme. It's fun if you Google it. There's a lot of things there. You know, I felt the right to earn my Google status. Yeah, Google.
I love that.
I have a whole page now. These niggas gonna learn, you know?
Well, let's try these shoes on, Pusha. Thank you guys again for watching. This has been Stop and Shop. I'm your host, King Lolo, or Go 813. Thank you again, Pushapreme. And stay tuned for our next episode, guys.
Walking, I can't blame them. Sorry, I gotta entertain them. I'm just saying, bitch, that I can't blame them. If she ain't a counter, then don't date them. I'm just saying, you know it's party time. Excellent.